Where is Charles Lee?
That is indeed the question. Welcome back, guys. And thank you for staying tuned as well. So yeah, now that we have finished Assassin's Creed Revelations, we can make a start on AC3. And yeah, with AC3 we're gonna be doing, not a stealth challenge, an in-depth story run. So essentially we're gonna be playing all the missions, and we're gonna be reading up all the database entries that have any value for the story. Which means we're not gonna be reading up all the buildings, but definitely all the characters, all the political events, and yeah, everything that could be important towards the story, essentially. Cheers, Rod, thank you. Welcome back as well. Yeah, Assassin's Creed 3 Where's Charles Lee? That is like the secret subtitle. But yeah, I think our settings are right. Let's just go ahead and check it one more time. We're gonna name the playthrough In-Depth Story. There we go. Let's go into this. I get PTSD from seeing the tyranny of King Washington in the menu there. Yeah, dude, no kidding. And I will have to play that and do an in-depth story run on it. That's like one of the downside of doing an in-depth story run with AC3, I guess. Having to do that with tyranny. But yeah, we're gonna get there. Yeah, let's go into this epic game.
Used to be when people talked about the end of the world, we locked them up. Or laughed them off. Sometimes both. But we never took them seriously. Maybe we should have. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Better to start at the beginning, with the abduction of Desmond Miles. My son. This boy had no ambition, no direction, no plans for the future. What he did have was a heritage, one he chose to deny. It nearly cost him his life. He was captured and imprisoned. Those who took him believed he could help them find something. The apple. One of several artifacts we call pieces of Eden. Bits of ancient technology scattered across the globe. Some hidden, some found, all of them dangerous. Most are held by a single group, the same group that now had Desmond. You know them as Abstergo Industries. We know them as the Templars, as the enemy. We've been fighting them for thousands of years, even longer if you believe the stories of their origins. I do. After all, I've seen the truth. That's the beauty and the horror of the Animus. A device that allows us to enter and experience the lives of our ancestors. It holds the power to change everything, to show us history the way it really happened. Up until its creation, to the victor went the spoils, went the truth. We're trying to fix that, to free minds and bodies both. But there's only so much that we can do, and the Templars have the upper hand these days. But something larger than the Assassins and Templars is approaching, bigger than all of us. And if we can't find a way to stop it, these next few weeks will probably be our last. Everyone's last. In the end, it all comes down to him. To Desmond. Through the Animus, he discovered his heritage, explored the lives of his ancestors, and uncovered their secrets. When that was done, he trained. He used another ancestor to provide decades of experience in the span of a few days. It worked. We think. We hope. Soon, though, soon we'll know. That ominous date fast approaches, December 21st, 2012. None of us knows what it'll bring, only that this is where they want us to be when it does. They've been guiding us in their own fractured, frustrating way. These voices from the first civilization, the ones who came before, a precursor race of immense power and uncertain motives. They're the ones who made the pieces of Eden. This is where they've led him, and through him, us. He stands at the entrance to this long-lost place, armed with the knowledge of Altair and the abilities of Ezio. He holds in his hands the Apple of Eden, and we stand at his side, ready to support him however we can. His name is Desmond Miles, and he has brought us to the end.
What an epic introduction right there. And yeah, Tyranny might be my least favorite together with Legacy of the First Blade.
We're here.
Okay, let me actually do something real quick. I actually forgot to do this fix to make it not stutter whatsoever. Similar to Brotherhood and Revelations, you can do that and then the game runs a lot better. Okay, let me do this. That's better. And yeah, it's great how they showcase the different symbols, right? Like the Egyptian eye, reference to Origins, of course.
Let's go.
And the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end.
In another moment, down went Alice after it, never once considering how in the world she was to get out again.
Alice in Wonderland. Going down the rabbit hole. I like that reference. Because this is kind of, you know, otherworldly. Or an otherworldly place, I guess.
I think we're here.
Yeah, you could charge a massive form of this.
You must find the key.
Son?
Sir.
Here we go again.
Desmond?
Do you hear us?
Yeah. What happened?
The temple triggered a bleeding effect. You collapsed and entered into a fugue state.
So naturally, you dropped me into the Animus instead of, I don't know, making sure I was okay?
You weren't in any danger. Besides, the temple appeared to be communicating with you, and I didn't want to risk severing the connection. At least not until we knew what it wanted.
Right. Of course.
Son,
No, it's fine. I get it. And I know what I'm looking for, by the way. It's a key. Just no idea where it is, though. Guess that's why she triggered the bleeding effect.
She?
Juno, Dad. She's talking to me.
Okay, Desmond. While you were, visiting Constantinople, we picked up a software update for the Animus. I'd like to run a couple of quick tests, make sure there aren't any major issues.
All right. What do you need me to do?
We'll start simple. Walk to the marker over there.
So asshole. Right. Just seemed like this graphical update coming from Relations is insane. Like obviously, you know, this is a remastered version of AC3, but still. It's the same engine as, you know, the classic AC3.
Okay, Desmond. Let's practice climbing on these objects.
Also the way how fluid, you know, the animations look like as well.
Free run your way through this little obstacle course.
Yeah, sounds good for 18. You have a good one as well. Thank you for joining. And I'll see you another time.
That's a constraint. These are optional objectives that raise your synchronization rate. Alright, Desmond. Follow the on-screen instructions and kill the 2 Templars.
Indeed.
All you have to do here is jump the gap.
Yeah. Templars. They're everywhere.
Synchronization levels look good now. We should be able to build the world. Time to find out what the temple wants from you.
I love this transition between Desmond and Hatham, and then, you know, how the world gets built by the Animus. Just such a good way to kind of build up the world as well, and to kind of, you know...
Sir? Sir? Everything all right, sir?
kind of try to guess, you know, where you are, and who this character is as well.
Preoccupied, that's all.
Don't forget your invitation. Master Birch will be meeting you inside.
Thank you.
Where shall I retrieve you once you're done?
Front of the Opera House. And be quick about it. Don't expect to be here long.
I'll bring her round at once.
And hey there, Grammy, citizen. Yeah, Master Birch, bitch. Sequence 1, a deadly performance.
Invitation, please. Shall I take your coat, sir?
Oh, thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are requested to kindly find your...
The Theatre Royal. You might hear this referred to as Covent Garden, which it faces, of Royal Opera House, which it later became. However, this is the original Theatre Royal building, opened in 1732, destroyed by fire in 1808. It will be rebuilt when destroyed by fire again in 1857, and then almost completely renovated in the 1900s. They've installed a smoke detector this time. The original theatre lineup was varied, containing ballet, operas, even acrobatics. Many of Handel's operas opened here, right up until his death in 1759, when he mysteriously stopped writing them. But the building was mainly used for presenting plays, at least for the first 100 years of its history. The reasons? It had the exclusive rights to perform spoken drama in London, awarded by King Charles II. Yes, kings could do that. Oh, why they would is beyond me. It's true, yeah. It's a really good reference, Rod, with the same play being played. And also the meaning behind the play as well, which you're gonna read up in a second here. Of course, yeah, the play itself is quite important with the meaning. But we also have database entries on Altair, Ibn La'ahad. Altair was born into the Assassin Brotherhood in the stronghold of Masyaf. His early life wasn't a happy one. His mother died during childbirth. Then, when he was a young boy, his father was killed during the first siege of Masyaf. Only shortly thereafter, the assassin he died to save committed suicide in front of the 11-year-old Altair. With his parents' gun, Altair looked to Al-Mu'allim, the then mentor of the Order, as a father figure. Al-Mu'allim recognized Altair's potential and took on his training personally. Altair reached rank of Master Assassin by the age of 25, an unheard of accomplishment. If there was an Assassin Book of Records, there would probably be a picture of this fella on the front. Altair was one of the best fighters in Assassin history, with an arrogance to match. After a disastrous mission in 1191, in which he broke the creed and very nearly let an apple of Eden fall into the Templar hands, Altair was sent back down to the novice rank and forced to begin again. As part of his rehabilitation, he was responsible for taking out the major players in the Templar Order at the time, including the Grand Master Robert de Sable. Tragically, in the end, he was also forced to kill Al-Mu'allim, who turned out to be both a Templar and corrupted by the influence of the apple. After his mentor's death, Altair took control of the Order, turning it into the secret and world-spanning organization it is today. One of the things that made Altair such a deadly assassin was something we now call eagle vision, a kind of sixth sense inherited from the first civilization. It allowed him to read his enemies and surroundings in a way that goes beyond what the human eye can see. Of course, you know more about that than me. I can't believe I just typed that, because it's in your blood and that's part of why you're here. Well, let's be honest, you know you weren't here because of my enduring affection, or my warm and passionate cuddles. That's right, Sean. Oh yeah, the legend Altair. Then we have another one, Ezio Auditore. Ezio Auditore da Firenze was a master assassin during the Italian Renaissance, as well as being an inheritor to the mysterious ability of eagle vision, and one of your ancestors. Ezio was something of a playboy in his teenage years, but his life changed in 1476, when his father and brothers were arrested and executed for treason. Ezio tried to save them, but the evidence clearing their names mysteriously disappeared in the hands of a family friend. Instead, they were hanged as Ezio looked on. Ezio fled with his mother and sister to Monteregione, where he sought refuge with his uncle, Mario Auditore. While Ezio had originally intended to continue on and settle in Spain, Mario had other ideas, He was the leader of the Italian Assassin Brotherhood and spent the next several years training Ezio and convincing him to help fight the Templars responsible for the deaths of his father and brothers. Ezio spent the next decade assassinating his way through the Templar ranks, eventually cornering the Templar Grandmaster Rodrigo Borgia in Venice in 1487. Borgia got away, but Ezio was able to recover an Apple of Eden and was formally inducted into the Assassin Order. After several setbacks over the next few years, Ezio traveled to Rome in 1499 to confront Rodrigo, who by then had become Pope Alexander VI. After defeating Rodrigo but sparing his life, Ezio opened a hidden vault under the Sistine Chapel. There, he discovered a message left by the First Civilization, warning of a catastrophe that would threaten to wipe out humanity. Yes, that would be the one we're facing right now. Over the next 20 years or so, Ezio worked at strengthening the Italian Assassin Brotherhood and fighting the Templars, which is sort of what we do. One of his greatest accomplishments would be discovering a hidden library belonging to Altair, hidden under the former assassin stronghold at Masyaf, and containing another message from the First Civilization. He retired from the Brotherhood shortly thereafter, which is what we call ending on a high note. He was terrific at jumping too. Ezio died in Florence in 1524, which is what we've seen earlier in Embers. That's true, Rod.
It's a me, Mario!
Credits are for Rebecca only.
Good evening, sir. This way, please.
My apologies.
Evening, Haytham.
Reginald?
I can't tell you how happy I was to hear they'd mounted this revival. Gay's best work by far. Have you seen it before?
Once. My father brought me here as a child. Though I remember little of it. I don't suppose tonight will afford me the luxury of a proper viewing either.
No, I'm afraid it won't. On to business then. Do you see him?
And the statesman, because he's so great, thinks his trade as honest as mine.
He's seated in one of the boxes above.
The stairs are watched. You'll need to find another way up.
So is mine. Like me too.
I already have.
Double capacity, both against rogues and for them. For 'tis but fitting that we should protect and encourage cheats, since we live by them.
Sir, Black Mall, that sick word of trial comes on in the afternoon.
1,000 pardons. My apologies.
As the wench is very active and industrious, you may satisfy her that I'll soften the evidence.
Tom Gates.
Reginald Birch was a London merchant, the son of another London merchant, who conveniently enough also had the last name Birch. It seems it was one of those hard-to-put-your-finger-on things that ran in the family. Birch started in business for himself at an early age. By the time he was in his mid-20s, he already owned several merchant ships, mainly dealing with the tea trade to the American colonies. That's pretty good going, seeing as by the time most people are in their mid-20s, they don't even own a shirt. I have him as part owner of the Providence, among others. Later in life, Birch also owned several businesses in and around London. He was a member of White's, which was a posh gentleman club in London, and generally a well-known and respected man about town. From what I can tell, Birch met Haytham Kenway while working for his father Edward. They were introduced at White's while Haytham was still quite young. Birch would eventually take over Haytham's education, tutoring him while on tour of Europe in the 1730s. From what we've seen in The Animus, it seems their friendship continued into adulthood, with them working together as members of the Assassins.
guilty.
A lazy dog. When I took him the time before, I told him what would come to if he did not mend his hand. This is death without reprieve. I may mention a booking. For Tom Gag, £40. Let Betty Sly know I'll save her from transportation, so I can get more by her staying in England.
Betty hath brought more goods into our lofty year than any five of the gang. And in truth, 'tis a pity to lose so good a customer.
If none of the gang take her off, she may, in the common course of business, live at 12 months longer. I love to let women...
That's a voice shot. Thank you so much for being here, dude, and joining. Also for the raid earlier and for the resub too. And yeah, I really hope you have a good night and a good rest.
There's nothing to be got by the death of women.
And for those who haven't checked out Rod Cheney yet, there's a shout out. He's a great streamer and a big fan of Assassin's Creed. Over weekend he's doing AC days, so he's going to be playing AC1, finishing that and also making a start on AC2 most likely. And he's also playing AC Valhalla as well, with shorter streams where he's still working on his completionist run. So yeah, you can catch a lot of AC content on the weekend, so definitely check it out. And that's the voice shot. Always happy to give you a shout out, dude. Thank you for being here, and I will catch you next time.
When I took him the time before, I told him what would come to if he did not mend his hand. This is death without reprieve. I may mention a booking.
Okay, why can't I?
Tom Gag.
So I'm gonna go over here.
Let Betty Sly know I'll save her from the transportation, so I can get more by her staying in England.
Betty hath brought more goods into our...
It won't like let me go into that direction for some reason.
And in truth, to lose so good a customer.
If none of the gang take her off, she may, in the common course of business, live at 12 months longer. I love to...
That's kinda curious.
A good sportsman always thinks the end.
I have issues going over here, usually.
Besides, here the law allows us no reward. There's nothing to be got by the death of women, except our wives.
Without dispute, she is a fine woman. 'Twas to her I was obliged for my education. And to say a bold word, she hath trained up more young fellows to the
okay.
goods than the gaming table.
But that's not this work.
Observation is right. We in the surgeons
It's really
beholden to women than all
weird.
professions besides.
Sir, Black Mall had sent word of trial comes on in the afternoon, and she hopes you will order...
You would expect I could, you know, just jump over here.
As the wench is very active and industrious, you may satisfy that our soft...
How it works. Okay.
is found guilty.
Weird.
When I took him the time before, I told him what would come to if he did not mend his hand. This is death without reprieve.
I think the exact same thing happened the last time to me, when I played it on the Animus project. But yeah. Maybe it's like a new bug with the remaster version.
I've got a bit of stage fright.
A little Dutch courage over the blooming the cheek.
The Beggar's Opera. It opened in London in 1728. It's a musical, one of the earliest ever created. It was written by John Gay, a writer and friend of both Alexander Pope and Jonathan Swift, two of the prominent literary figures of the day. The opera was both popular and controversial. Popular partly because it was an excellent scouring of Italian opera, which was very popular at the time. However, instead of complicated Italian songs, the Beggar's Opera featured folk tunes that the audience could recognize, meaning you could hum along even if you didn't know Italian. It was controversial because of the subject matter. It's set in the Newgate prison, and the main characters are all criminals, who act much like the upper classes. It was the send-up of a British nobility, including veiled criticism of the head of government, neither of whom traditionally have a sense of humor. I've never met a queen who liked a knock-knock joke. Actually, I've never met a queen. The Beggar's Opera was accused of being a base form of entertainment, and because its main characters are criminals, accused of causing increasing crime. It's nice to see that criticism isn't just for movies and video games, but the opera, corrupting our kids. Yeah, it's kind of funny, you know, this fourth wall break here, because it's like, you know, nowadays we say like violence in movies and video games is like corrupting the kids, and back then it was like, you know, violence in operas is corrupting the kids or whatever. It's kind of funny. But yeah, that's why this meaning of a Beggar's Opera is very important, because it's kind of a mocking of the nobility, which at the same time is a mocking of everything the Templars kind of stand for, because they want to be nobility, you know, they want to have a control over most of society. And that's why it makes sense that Edward would actually go into the Beggar's Opera with his kids, because the message behind it is very much that Edward stands behind as well.
Jeremy's really burning on the boards tonight. He's a marvel.
Haytham. You should have come to me. We would have found another way.
Yes. But then you would have known. For what it's worth, I'm sorry.
As am I.
Hurry! Come, please!
Over there! That man there! Seize him!
Whatever has happened?
A man was killed in the I've done no wrong! I searched him. Any weapons?
I beg your pardon.
I love this scene.
Did you notice anyone
It's kind of like, you know, escaping with social stealth in a way. Very assassin-y.
It happened
We
right
must
at
leave
that
at
balcony.
once.
What are those
There's a
men
killer
doing in
about.
there?
I'm staying where it's safe.
Oh, say there, Ethan. Welcome.
Move! He's French. There is no danger.
Hey!
Imbecile! Where are you going?
I need to get out. Too close.
I'll search along here. You search down there. Very well. If you find anyone, give a shout.
Not 100% sing, but we're gonna be doing all the missions, and we're gonna be reading up all the database entries that have any story importance. So it's definitely gonna be having all the content.
And how was the opera?
Rather dull, truth be told.
And hey, Battalion, Welcome, mate.
Shall we be off then?
Aye. To Fleet and Bride.
By your command.
Fascinating. Gentlemen, I hold in my hand a key. And if this book is to be believed, it will open the doors of a storehouse built by those who came before.
Ah, yes. Those who ruled, reigned, and vanished from the world. Do we know what it is that will be held within?
It could contain certain knowledge. Perhaps a weapon, or something as yet unknown, unfathomable in its construction and purpose. It could be any of these things, or none of them. They are still an enigma, these precursors. But of one thing I am certain. Whatever waits behind those doors shall prove a great boon to us all.
Or our enemies, should they find it first.
They won't. You've seen to that.
I assume you know where this storehouse is?
Ah, Mr. Harrison.
Gentlemen.
How fare your calculations?
I believe the site lies somewhere within this region.
That's a lot of ground to cover.
My apologies. Were that I could be more accurate.
That's all right. It suffices for a start. And that is why we've called you here, Master Kenway. We'd like for you to travel to America, locate the storehouse, and take possession of its contents.
I'm yours to command, although a job of this magnitude will require more than just myself.
Of course. Upon this paper are the names of 5 men sympathetic to our cause. Each is also uniquely suited to aid you in your endeavor. With them at your side, you will want for nothing.
Well, then I'd best be on my way.
I knew our faith in you was not misplaced. We've booked you passage to Boston. Your ship leaves at dawn. Go forth, Hatham, and bring honor to us all.
Did you just see the name? Charles Lee. It's the first time we read it or hear of it. And yeah, the game is fairly big. But I've also just on the Animus Project did the run where I did 100% sync in all the missions, so I don't wanna like repeat necessarily what I do there. And yeah, also Italian, thank you. How's it going for you today? Indeed, Demise. We finished Revelations. Watched AC Empress as well, and now it's to start AC3. Hey Tomorrow, welcome mate.
Some fresh air might do me good.
Providence was one of many sailing ships in the British Merchant Navy, which basically means it was a trade ship rather than one meant for war. You will notice it's carrying cannon, but those are mainly for protection against pirate or privateer vessels, or for turning the ship into a privateer vessel should the need arise. The ship was built in 1748 and made several trips a year between Britain and the North American colonies, with occasional visits to the West Indies. The manifest doesn't indicate anything particularly interesting. Mostly it carried staples like tea, molasses, and cloth. It's captained by its part owner, one Samuel Smith, who got something of a reputation among sailors for both cruelty to his crew and penny pinching on rations. Incidentally, that's not exactly a way to keep good sailors on board. The crew is probably both inexperienced and disgruntled. Ideally, you want an experienced crew who are hugely gruntled. Although you likely don't know much about running an 18th century sailing vessel, odds are you won't notice the difference. Time to give it Malacca, Chelsea. Yeah, it's gonna take us a while, but we're gonna get there. I love the entire journey they created for, England to the colonies. It really feels like a journey, you know? Not like in Rogue where They literally cut from Lisbon to the homestead in like a matter of seconds. So part of the end of the story is also that I will be doing all the optional dialogues as well. So we get like the maximum out of the story. So let's have a listen what the doctor has to say. You had glitches on this part? Did you? What happened, Demise? Yeah, the remaster isn't fixed whatsoever. To be honest, I think I have more bugs with remaster than I have with the regular version. But it does have more content than what I have with the standard version. And it does look better, I guess, in some ways. And it also has some good gameplay changes as well. Yeah, in-depth story is really good, especially with like all the database entries and like all the missions and stuff. And yeah, I felt like, you know, with the ending of Desmond's Saga and with me not doing too much side stuff for Brotherhood and Revelations, I want to end the Desmond Saga with like, you know, the most out of a story that I can squeeze out, I guess.
Good morning, Doctor.
To you as well.
A question, if I may. Do you serve aboard the ship, or are you simply taking passage?
A bit of both, actually. I've been commissioned by the Royal Navy to study maritime illness. I'll be observing the crew during the journey. We have found that sailors fare far better on the open seas than the rest of us. I hope to discover why that is.
Well, I hope you are successful in your endeavors.
As do I. Thank you for the kind words. A moment to talk? Ah, a fellow Londoner. Good to see I'm not the only man of means aboard. Rupert Martin, pleased to meet you.
Haytham Kenway. Pleasure.
Seems we picked an excellent time to leave the city.
Oh?
You didn't hear about the murder at the Opera House?
No. What happened?
They're still trying to sort it all out. And I suspect they'll be at it for a good long while.
Any word on the motive?
They've ruled out robbery, so perhaps it was a business arrangement gone sour. Or something more personal, more lurid. Who knows? But I am glad to be away from it. The city grows more dangerous by the day.
Yeah, they did change the aiming mechanics as well. But I do like how the aiming works in the remaster, to be honest. I love the attention to detail inside the ship, you know? There's like stuff going on everywhere. You could of course also play one of these mini games, but I'm not too interested in playing those. Ah, yeah, I think I remember that that clip, Demise. If feel free to share it in chat for anybody who wants to see it again. You got sent home from work due to COVID symptoms, Morrow? Really? What happened to you? Cheers, Demise, for sharing that. Yeah, the minigames can be tricky and also not too much fun to me personally, but yeah. Having trouble breathing fully. Okay. Well, yeah, then better, you know, make an appointment, I reckon. That sucks, dude. I definitely hope you feel better soon. Of course, crossing the Atlantic today is as easy as a plane ride, but it was much more difficult in colonial times. Even though I imagine the tiny food and cramped conditions and likelihood of sitting next to a fat man for many hours were pretty much the same. For European travelers it was at best a 6-week voyage, but depending on delays it could last months. Dangers include storms and the opposite being becalmed, seasickness, food running short and dying of boredom because you had nothing to do all day. For Africans captured into slavery, the Atlantic voyage was much worse, across the Middle Passage, usually to the Caribbean. The journey was just as long, but slaves were kept below decks and rarely allowed out in the fresh air, with the men usually in shackles. They were given only 1 meal a day, lest their provisions ran low. Disease was rampant, and mortality rates were high. I will never complain about being inappropriately touched by airport security again, though to be fair, we're now firm friends and Juan was very gentle. I got Chamorro. Yeah, no worries. I will see you when you get back, dude. Also, hey there, Maximus. Welcome, mate. And how's it going, dude? Happy weekend to you. And yeah, it's going very well. We're just making a start on Assassin's Creed 3. And I'm very, very excited for this one. Well, that's understandable, Maxi. Definitely hope you're gonna be able to jump into a weekend soon enough.
Captain?
Where is Charles
Mr.
Lee?
Kenway. I just wanted to thank you again for taking me aboard and apologize for any inconvenience it may have caused.
Inconvenience would be an understatement.
I'm sorry, I don't follow.
My ship was held in port for 2 days that we might accommodate you. I lost several contracts as a result.
I had no idea.
Of course not. You nobles are all the same.
Where is Charles Lee?
Yeah, where is he?
Then all will be well.
You sure about that?
Of course. Have I ever led you astray?
Nah. Oh, you don't sit right with the others.
Have faith, my friend. You'll see.
Well, well. Seems our esteemed guest has deigned to grace us with his presence. You might want to head back to your quarters. Top deck's no place for tender parnells.
So I thought. And yet here you are.
Fancy yourself a joker, eh? Let's see how funny you find this.
That's enough, Graves.
Stay out of this.
Fine position, Gareth.
Listen to this, Hector. Thinks he can swagger on up here and declare himself king of the castle.
Please, fellas, call this off. If the captain sees us...
To hell with the captain. And to hell with you, Mills. Whose side you on, anyway?
We're ready to go again if you are.
This is unwise.
Why's that? You think I'm afraid of you?
No. But you should be. Do you yield?
Never! How do you like these odds?
What's the meaning of this?
Captain!
Explain yourself at once, Mr. Kenway.
These thought we were simply passing the time with a bit of sport, Captain.
How about you pass the time by doing your goddamn jobs instead? I wasn't aware I was paying you to loll about. A word, please, Mr. Kenway.
Oh, I nearly forgot. There's your knife back.
I don't care for you, Mr. Kenway. I've had nothing but trouble since you came aboard.
Your problems have nothing to do with me.
I beg your pardon?
You're a poor leader, ill-tempered and cruel, and it's clear your crew has no respect for you.
Look, I don't want to argue. In fact, I need a favor.
Oh, this is rich.
I suspect some of the men intend to mutiny.
Really? What a surprise.
As I cannot trust any of them, I am compelled to turn to you.
And why should I help you?
Because if they do intend to betray, I'm the only hope you have of reaching America alive. Well, what will it be?
If what you say is true, what other choice do I have?
Thank you.
But let me be clear. Should you ever dare to insult or threaten me again, I'll not hesitate but to cut off your head myself. Are we understood? Excellent. Good day.
I make my own luck. Yeah, Haven is good in burning others, especially with Captain. Also, I come back tomorrow.
Mr. Kenway.
Captain?
Whatever they're up to, I believe it's coming to a head.
I'd best get to work.
He's cut our rations again. Claims we're not provisioned for such luxuries.
It's not right that you should feast on lamb and wine. We're stuck with tinned fish and...
You looking for another fight? That it? Go away.
Oh, they're friendly.
Quite the basting you gave Graves and Quill.
Wasn't by choice.
Aye. Blockheads, the both of them. Where are my manners? Louis Mills. Pleased to meet you.
Hatham Kenway. So, should I be watching my back?
I think the boys learned their lesson. They're normally not so nasty. Honest, it's just the past few crossings have been a bit rough.
Oh?
Captain's trying to cut costs. Reduced rations, lower wages, more dangerous cargo. It's put the crew on edge.
Is there cause for concern, then?
Not if I can help it. But the captain needs to think about the way he treats his men.
Too bad. Would fight them, Maxi. That's fair, yeah. I wouldn't take shit from these guys as well if I was Hatham. Louis Mills is a deckhand originally from where we British somewhat optimistically call sunny Brighton. He got his love of the sea from his father, who was also a sailor. He first took young Louis to sea with him at the age of 10, sailing from London to Boston on a vessel named the Windward. As he grew older, Mills kept working as a merchant marine, traveling the world and gaining a reputation as a reliable and level-headed sailor. He joined the crew of Providence in 1752, staying with the captain and crew through a variety of hardships. But by 1755 he was thinking of moving on. And yes, he does have a hidden blade. However, we can't actually use it right now. It's not available to us.
I ain't got nothing to say to you.
Well, that was helpful. Yes.
You there. I have some questions for you.
That's nice, but I ain't got time to gossip. Probably wouldn't have anything useful to share anyway. You want information? Try the cook or the doctor. Everyone's always chatting them up.
Okay, so we talked to the doctor already, but we haven't talked to the cook yet.
Won't be serving for another couple hours. Some biscuits in the barrel if you're desperate.
Actually, I've come with a question.
What's that?
Have any of the men been acting strange recently? Said anything that struck you as out of the ordinary?
The boys cry about the rations, as if there's anything I can do about it. But beyond that, I ain't heard much. My advice? Go find James. His ears are always open.
And where might I find him?
Right behind you, actually. He's the one sitting on the barrel.
So we're gonna be playing the Tyranny of King Washington, then AC Liberation, and then we're gonna be playing AC Black Flag Maxi. So we're gonna be doing all of that.
Are you James?
Aye.
Haytham Kenway. Pleased to meet you.
I know who you are.
I was hoping you could answer some questions.
I figured as much, but not here. Follow me. So, what do you want to know?
Have you seen or heard anything out of the ordinary since we left port? Anything that gives cause for concern?
Some of the men have been gathering at night on the upper deck. I've only caught bits of their conversations, so I couldn't say for certain what they're up to. But I suspect it bodes ill.
Is it a mutiny they're planning?
All I know is they've little love for the captain. Mills has been trying to talk 'em down, but there's only so much one man can do.
Thank you for the information.
I only wish to see us reach the colonies alive.
This was where the glitch happened for you, Demise. Yeah, fortunately we didn't have it ourselves. Ah, I gotcha, Maxi. Yeah, Liberation is quite the interesting game, actually. Like, story-wise, it has some interesting plots, I reckon. And also like some of the locations, quite a bit.
Evening, sir.
How are things?
Calm and quiet. Just the way I like it. What brings you topside?
Thought I'd wander a bit. Stretch my legs. That's all.
Take care where you tread. The deck hides all manner of danger in the dark.
What was that? Someone's throwing cargo overboard. But why?
She does work together with Connor in one of the missions, but they don't really train together. There's like a different mentor in the like Louisiana Brotherhood, I guess. But yeah, it's definitely cool that there's like exposure between the two, though. You know, that Connor and Evelyn are going to like meet up at some point.
He's a shifty fella.
Even if it's only for a short while.
Quiet! Here he comes! Make like you're working.
Okay, I can talk to him with the suit again, but I think it would just repeat what he said earlier. Let's try it again.
quite the basting you gave Graves and Quill.
Wasn't by choice.
Aye. Blockheads, the both of them. Where are my manners?
Okay. Yeah, we did have this dialogue earlier. Also, I have Michael Farr. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. And how's it going? Yeah, there was a DLC for Evelyn or for Black Flag, but I'm not quite sure how you actually unlock it because I don't have it. And I do have a season pass for Black Flag. But yeah, there's like, I think a 1 hour DLC or something for Evelyn.
Cut our rations again. Claims we're not provisioned for such luxuries.
It's not right that you should feast on lamb and wine.
But yeah, the real DLC of course for Black Flag is Freedom Cry with Adivale.
Then
Curious. Most curious.
Any news? Each night it's the same. I scout one area, and they drop the painted barrels from another. I'm going to need to recruit an extra pair of eyes. Maybe James or Mills.
Why are they doing this?
Near as I can tell, the barrels serve as markers. They're leaving a trail. My fear is it's only a matter of time before whoever's following it...
Ship sighted aft! She's making ready to fire!
Beat to quarters, men! Ready the... Brace! Everybody down! A warning shot! Seems they don't mean to sink us, but board us instead! Man the cannons! Make ready to fight! I want you below decks.
Why? Let me help you secure the ship.
Do you know how to rig a sail? To load a cannon? To wage war at sea? I didn't think so. Now return to your cabin. Or do I need to have you escorted? Secure the hatch!
Haytham.
Have you been topside? A ship's appeared and means to board us. It's strange. There's no sign of mutiny aboard. Doesn't make sense.
Ah, but it does.
What do you mean?
Did you think you could escape from London so easily after what you did at the Opera? That we wouldn't notice? That we wouldn't follow?
Ah. So that's what this is about.
Surrender, and I will see that you are treated with honor.
If you wish to treat me with honor, give me a sword.
Are you sure this is how you want to play it?
It's kind of cool that they have like, you know, enough honor to not like just attack each other like this. They actually want a fair fight between the two. Only the most skilled, you know, will get out of there alive.
told you to stay below decks.
I did as you asked. Only Mills was there waiting for me. He's the one that drew that ship here. There was no mutiny, only him.
What do they want?
Me.
Then they can have you.
Is that so?
They'll catch us anyway. There's nothing to be done.
I can think of something.
You wish us to sail into the storm?
It's our only chance.
I won't do it.
Then I will.
All right, all right. Secured! I told you this was madness.
Calm yourself. I'll fix your sail for you.
I love how realistic the ocean, you know, feels like sailing through this. Really gotta give props to AC3 for, you know, working on that aspect, kind of like establishing it for Black Flag and Rogue.
We need more speed! Loose the sails! Haytham, you take the foremast! James, to the mainmast with you!
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Make ready for our arrival, men!
Arrival? I see no land, only this interminable fog.
The gulls tell us all we need to know. Climb into the crow's nest and you'll see.
Let's go. Love the soundtrack that plays when you know, climb up. It's very subtle, but pretty good. What an opening title scene though. What an introduction to see the colonies for the first time as well. I mean, if you're a sailor, you gotta climb, Maxi. Every finger if it shook.
Master Kenway! Master Kenway!
Yes, may I help you?
Charles Lee, sir. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. I've been asked to introduce you to the city, help you settle it. Oh, no need, sir. I've arranged for your bags to be delivered to the inn.
There he is.
Are you by any chance John and Isabella's son?
Where is Charles Lee?
What?
There he is. Charles Lee was a British soldier who went on to be a major figure in the Revolutionary War. Lee's father was a colonel in the British Army and started his son off in a military career early. He was sent to a military academy in Switzerland during his formative years, and then in 1746 Lee became an ensign in his father's regiment. Lee was sent to the colonies in 1755 to fight in the French and Indian War. He served under Edward Braddock and then later at Fort Ticonderoga, where he was injured in the fighting. Lee recovered and later fought at Fort Niagara. I'd always thought there was a lot of fort fights fought. Jesus Christ. How many times will you say fought or fought? Fought. There's like so many forts here. He finished his time in the colonies with a British conquest of Montreal.
Yeah, Mr. White! Yes, science!
Yeah, that sentence structure is science. So hey there, Cowdog, how's it going? That's the voice. I hope you enjoy your lurk. And thank you for being here as well. Oh, where's Maximus? That's what the trumpets are for. Lee returned to England in 1760, possibly because he was seeking career advancement. He was named a major in 1761 and was sent to fight the Spanish in Portugal. Though his service record there was good, Lee didn't receive praise on his return home. In fact, he was retired from his army at half pay. After that, Lee became a vocal critic of military higher-ups and the British Prime Minister, and found that his military career had inexplicably completely stalled. Until he went to Poland and died there. Which they don't talk about here.
And the same.
Your commission is with Edward Braddock, is it not?
Aye. But he's yet to reach America, and I figured I might... well, at least until he arrives, I thought...
Yes? Out with it?
Forgive me, sir. I had hoped that I might study under you. If I am to serve the Order, I can imagine no better mentor than yourself.
Kind of you to say, but I think you overestimate me.
Impossible, sir. This way.
Hell! Thief! Someone stop him!
Oh, that wasn't scripted. We have the British Regulars. They were the foot soldiers of the British Army. You will also hear them referred to derisively as redcoats, because of red coat they were as part of a uniform. I bet you didn't see that coming, or lobster backs because of their huge deadly pincers. Or still because of red coat thing, I can't remember which. Regulars in the colonies were notoriously underpaid and many looked for work outside of their army duties to make ends meet. Of course, their room and board was paid by the government, meaning they could charge lower than average rates for the work. Since unemployment was high in Boston before the revolution, you can imagine this made redcoats rather unpopular among people they were taking work from. That and their huge deadly pincers. Thank you for clipping that, Maxi. Yeah, that's a sentence. Like Sean was having, or taking a piss with us or something. But that's a cool thing with a database, you know, it's not entirely informational, it's also like, it does have humor and stuff like this sometimes. Because of Sean writing this, so that's kind of like something I really enjoy about the database. Because yeah, that sentence was 100% on purpose.
Boston's quite a lively city.
There's all manner of things to see and do. Once you've settled in, I suggest you take some time to walk the streets. Who knows what opportunities you might discover.
Hold a moment. Need to fetch a few things before we get to work.
I'll arrange for horses while you do that.
There we go. Boston town. Markets. There are a number of public markets in the colonies, meaning you can get supplies easily. Of course, paying for goods is another matter, as currency was incredibly complex. People paid in English, Spanish, French and Portuguese coins, wampum, New Jersey and New York bills, magic beans, laundromat coins, the list goes on. We have simplified everything down for you and the animus. You're welcome. While some markets sold a variety of goods like Faneuil Hall in Boston, others are more specialized. New York's County Slip was mainly a fish market, though like most markets it sold a little of everything, while if you were in the market of African slavers, Peck Slip was the place to go. Yes, slavery was legal at the time, though it was less common in Boston than New York, which had the largest slave population in the north. Don't be surprised to see European servants for sale, either some were sold for a fixed number of years to pay back their passage to the New World, a much better deal than the slaves were offered. These kids are rumbling everybody. Oh, sorry kids, but I can't actually throw money yet. We haven't unlocked that skill. Bunch of grapes. Okay, so this is like story, this is like building history. And buildings are gonna exclude out of
Get back here with that, you rogue!
database in the story run. Except if a building has an immense, you know, importance to like the plot.
Damn sprigs, this accursed city will be the death of me.
You seem troubled, friend.
That's because I am. Greatly so, in fact.
What's happened?
I was robbed. The old Balkan file. Though I've managed to restore what's mine, I fear it's ruined.
You mean the book?
This is no ordinary book. It's an almanac. The first I ever wrote. Benjamin Franklin, pleased to meet you.
Haytham Kenway.
You must be new to Boston.
Why do you say that?
You're still possessed of virtue. To stop and help an old lout like myself. I don't mean to impose, but you seem a spry fellow. Should you happen to find my missing pages, I'll reward you.
Look, I'm not sure if I've...
It's all right. If you have the time, hurrah! If not, no harm done. The thing is useless in its current state anyway. But should you somehow manage to restore it, You'll find me inside that general store over there.
Well, that was interesting.
Also, hey Veroni, welcome mate. Benjamin Franklin was a renowned inventor, diplomat, and one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. Translation: he was a rock star of the age. Benjamin Franklin was born in Boston in 1706, the 10th son of a soap maker. 10 sons. I guess his parents couldn't afford the television, and also there was no television. He began working for his brother in 1718 as an apprentice printer. However, the relationship was rocky, particularly after the older Franklin found out that the young Benjamin had been writing for the paper under a pseudonym. Silence the good, and writing an extremely popular column at that. Human nature being what it is, the fact that the column was popular was probably the bigger problem. Benjamin ran away in 1723 and headed for Philadelphia, where he continued his career in printing and writing, eventually buying the Pennsylvania Gazette. The business, I mean, not just a copy. That would have been one of his lesser achievements. He stayed in Philadelphia for most of his life, that is, when he wasn't making extended trips to Europe. Franklin had the talent for persuasion, and that made him an ideal diplomat. In 1757, he went to London to represent Pennsylvania in an ongoing legal battle with the Penn family. It was the first of several extended political trips to Britain, and he would act as the state representative for Massachusetts, Georgia, and New Jersey as well. In fact, Franklin was in Europe for most of the Revolution, or he was in the colonies to help with the writing of the Declaration of Independence. Franklin was a vocal opponent of British impositions on the colonies like the Stamp Act, and although he first fought for the rights of the colonists as British citizens, he eventually became convinced, like many of the founding fathers, that independence was only the real solution. Unfortunately, Franklin's change of heart made him clash with his son, William, who served as the royal governor of New Jersey. William remained an active loyalist. The father and son never spoke again. When he wasn't founding a new nation and destroying his family in the process, Franklin was a scientist, inventing things like big bifocals and more efficient wood stoves when he wasn't mapping the Gulf Stream and discovering how electricity worked. What have you done today? Made yourself a microwave meal and sat about in your underwear? Oh, well done you. He was also quite the lady killer. Jesus, this guy carrying on several friendships with women while he was in Europe. Records don't say what exactly they saw in him. Certainly not his looks. Maybe a woman like a man who's intelligent. If that was true, I wouldn't be here. I would be in Portugal surrounded by them, and you would be looking at a blank screen. Yeah, that's fair. Because Sean's probably like the most intelligent in this series. Maybe with Leonardo.
It is feared that armed hostilities between French.
Also have the committees of correspondence. Since the American Revolution happened in the dark days before there was an internet, and even before telephones, organizing colonial opposition to the British was a little tricky. I don't want to make you cry, but these clowns didn't even have dial-up. The solution was to send out writers bearing letters to inform colonists in other areas what was going on. These became known as committees of correspondence. Correspondence being a fancy name for letters. If you did not know this, I'm amazed you have even read this far. Actually, I'm amazed you even can read this far. Samuel Adams created one of the first committees of correspondence in Boston in 1772. In particular, he wanted to keep people outside of Boston informed about town meetings, so the governor couldn't invite only his friends to meetings. That would be less a meeting, more a dinner party. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Adams' committee worked so well that everyone started doing it. Eventually, all of the colonies have their own committees, focused on presenting a united front against British imposed taxes and supporting boycotts of British goods. Really, Adam should have patented the idea. He could have made a fortune.
Forces on the frontier could lead to formal war.
Willkommen, enter, please.
Willkommen, a German. He also says mein Freund every now and then, which is like my friend. And willkommen is welcome. So he's a German, apparently. So we can buy the enormous sword. This blade is useful to settle matters quickly and effectively when close combat occurs. Its noiseless approach makes it reliable under any weather conditions, especially when black powder is dripping wet and unusable. The guard is white and protects the wielder's hand. Sometimes it may also be used to punch the opponent. And the flintlock pistol has a better accuracy at short range and is thus less powerful than the musket. However, it's more comfortable in a fight than on a battlefield and easier to wield, offering more versatility. Because of the time it takes to reload after every single shot, many people will carry 2 or more pistols at the same time. Try crafting a pistol sheath with 2 holsters to add and carry a second pistol.
Between their people and ourselves. The Mohawk Indians have responded favorably to efforts to reduce strife between their people and ourselves.
We ride for the Green Dragon Tavern. The proprietors are eccentric, but the rooms are spacious and they do not pry.
Have you been told why it is I've come to Boston?
No, Master Birch said I should know only as much as you saw fit to share. He sent me a list of names and bade me ensure you could find them.
And have you had any luck with that?
Aye. William Johnson waits for us at the Green Dragon.
How well do you know him?
Not well, but he saw the order's mark and did not hesitate to come.
Prove yourself loyal to our cause, and you may yet know our plans as well.
I should like nothing more, sir.
Okay, so the Green Dragon Tavern is actually quite the important place, because we're gonna have Haven and his associates being here for a long time, and Connor's also gonna come back to the Green Dragon Tavern at a later point of the game. So any like essential buildings you're gonna read up on. This tavern is sometimes called the headquarters of revolution, though I imagine when it is they pronounce it headquarters of revolution. Because overthrowing the government in a pub is thirsty work. It was a popular place for people like Paul Revere and Samuel Adams to sit with their friends and plot. Up until 1754, the tavern was owned by William Douglas. When he died, his property was left to his daughter Catherine Kerr and his nephew Cornelius Douglas. They divided their inheritance equally, and it seems got along famously. The Freemasons bought the tavern in 1766 and renamed it the Freemasons' Arms, which didn't actually stick because the sign above the door was though a green dragon. Freemasons, the secret society everyone knows about. Let's get a pub where we can meet in complete secret and no one will ever know. Brilliant. What shall we call it? How about the Freemasons' Arms? Legend has it that Paul Revere's ride was planned here, but that's unlikely. By 1774, Revere had been warned that the British were listening in on his meetings, and had therefore stopped making super secret plans in public where anyone could hear them. Summon the Masons, you know where to find them. Okay, I'm gonna uncheck this, but we're not gonna read it. A favor.
You lying, cheating, no good son of a bitch.
Perhaps we've come at a bad time.
Oh, don't be foolish, dearies. Please, sit. Fancy something to eat? A drink, perhaps? Or is it a bed you require?
We've already let rooms here.
Oh, yes. Of course. Masters Lee and Kenway, was it? I'll have your bags brought up. Do you require anything further?
Only privacy.
This way.
If him is like, don't bother me.
Sir, William Johnson.
A pleasure. A good lad, if a bit earnest. I'm told you're putting together an expedition.
We believe there's a precursor site in the region. I require your knowledge of the land and its people to find it.
Sadly, my research has been stolen. Without it, I'm of no use to you.
Then we'll find it. Do you have any leads?
My associate, Thomas Hickey, has been making the rounds. He's quite good at loosening tongues.
Well, tell me where I can find him. I'll see if I can't speed things up.
We've heard rumors of bandits operating from a compound southwest of here. You'll likely find him there.
Charles?
Sir.
We'd best be off.
Of course.
Charles? Okay, let's talk to William Johnson first. William Johnson was a land speculator and Britain's principal treaty negotiator with the indigenous peoples in the northern part of the colonies, particularly the Cherokee. Johnson was born in Ireland but moved to the colonies in 1738 to look after his uncle's property on the Mohawk River. However, it wasn't long before Johnson branched out into business for himself, acquiring property on the opposite side of the river and setting up a sawmill and trading post, which he named Mount Johnson. Which to me always sounds like mating instructions from a caveman. In 1743, he moved to an even larger parcel of land, which he named Fort Johnson. He may have been an excellent businessman, but it's possible he lacked an imagination. Johnson befriended the indigenous people in the area, particularly the Kainai and Kahaka, whose language he learned. His respect for the customs helped him rise to prominence as liaison between the Cherokee people and the British government. Johnson was named Superintendent of Indian Affairs in 1756, and as a contact who knows the land and its people, he's probably the best you will find. And we have Thomas Hickey. He was an Irish-born member of the British Army. He arrived in Boston in 1752, but it wasn't long before he was assigned to William Johnson's personal guard, apparently at Johnson's request. Possibly because their family were connected in Ireland, or maybe he found the name Hickey funny. The record isn't clear. Hickey served under Johnson during the French and Indian War, but then he left the army after being written up several times for disorderly conduct. After 1760, Hickey disappears from the historical record for several years. I do, however, have several mentions in William Johnson's household account of payments made to Thomas Hickey. It's possible Hickey was working for him as a spy. If so, he should really have developed some tougher codes to crack. Yeah, let's also talk to him.
Tell me about yourself, William.
What's to tell? I was born in Ireland to Catholic parents, which I learnt early in life severely limited my opportunities. So I converted to Protestantism and journeyed here at the behest of my uncle. But I fear my uncle Peter was not the swiftest of men. He sought to open trade with the Conyan Gahaga, but chose to build his settlement away from the trade routes instead of on them. I tried to reason with the man, but as I said, not the swiftest. So, I took what little money I'd earned and bought my own little plot of land. I built a home, a farm, a store, and a mill. Humble beginnings, but well situated, which made all the difference.
So this is how you came to know the Mohawk?
Indeed, and it has proved a valuable relationship.
But still no mention from your contacts of the precursor site? No hidden temple or ancient constructs?
Yes and no. Which is to say, they have their fair share of sacred sites. Earthen mounds, forest clearings, hidden caves. But nothing matching what you describe. No strange metals, no odd glows.
It is well hidden.
Even to them, it seems. But cheer up, my friend. You'll have your precursor treasure. I swear it.
To our success, then.
And soon. Should not be much longer. I'll let you know as soon as I have something. I hope you're right, Hatham. I should return to my studies.
Alright, so we also have some emails apparently. However, I'm gonna wait to read them until we actually get out of the Animus assessment, because we kind of have been, you know, put there because of bleeding effect being triggered. So yeah, we're gonna wait, I think, until the game kicks us out of the Animus. Sequence 2. Johnson's Errand.
Thomas Hickey?
Who's asking?
Hatham Kenway.
Is that supposed to mean something?
Show some respect, boy.
Peace, Charles. William Johnson sent us in the hopes we might expedite your search.
We don't need no expediting. Don't need none of your fancy London speak neither. I found the men that done the theft.
Then why are you just lazing around?
Figuring out how to deal with those varlets.
I have an idea.
Well, let's hear it.
I'll kill the lookout, take up a position behind the guards. You two approach from the front. When I open fire on the group, you charge in. We'll have the element of surprise on our side. Half will fall before they've even realized what's happened. Get into position, but wait for me to take the first shot.
You two, clear off. So much for the element of surprise. Reinforcement!
Jesus, what's up with the camera? going crazy sometimes.
Fall back! We'll be safe inside!
What now?
We can blow the door with those. Go on, shoot them. On with the show then. Guess they wasn't so safe inside after all.
Lay down your weapons, and I'll consider letting you live.
I make you the same offer. We've no quarrel. I only wish to return this chest to its rightful owner.
Nothing rightful about Mr. Johnson.
I won't ask again.
Agreed.
Your kind has no need for books and maps. Who put you up to this?
Never seen a person. It's always been dead drops and letters. But they always pay, so we do the jobs.
Well, those days are done. Tell your masters I said as much.
Who should I say you are?
You don't? They'll know.
Atham, this one's got some shot on him. You might want to be grabbing it on account of your pistol being parched.
It's another good way of kind of preserving the plot twist, you know.
So many had to die.
Aye. Back to the Green Dragon then.
It's Atham doesn't say which you know, organization or party he belongs to.
Careful, gents. We've company.
Don't let go of the chest, Charles. We'll take care of this rebel.
A little help, please!
Quit your crying, I'm coming! Wait, them bodies is sure to have loot on them. Would be a shame to let it all go to waste.
Are you mad? In case you've forgotten, we're in the midst of something!
Aw, why's you always gotta go and spoil the sport? They ain't so tough.
It's not the scoundrels I'm concerned with.
Something is fishy with the camera. Every time I use a pistol or something, it's like aiming in reposition. I hope it's just like a temporary bug.
That seems to be the last of them.
Oi! Mr. Johnson's gonna need to double my pay after all this if he expects me to keep at his side.
There you are.
My thanks, Master Kenway. Now, tell me what it is you need.
The images on this amulet, are they familiar to you? Perhaps one of the tribes has shown you something similar.
It appears Kanyan Gahaga in origin.
Can you trace it to a specific location? I need to know where it came from.
With my research returned, perhaps. Let me see what I can do. Thomas!
What?
Rent yourself a room. And a bath as well. I suspect we'll be here for a while.
Yeah, sounds good, Morrow. If you enjoy filming the Skater XL part.
Any news?
Whispers of things. Nothing solid at the moment. I know you're looking for word of anything out of the ordinary. Dealing with temples and spirits and ancient times and whatnot. But, so far, can't say my boys have heard much.
No trinkets or artifacts being moved through your... shadow market?
Nothing new. Couple of ill-gotten weapons, some jewelry likely lifted from a living thing. But you said to listen for talk of glows and ums and strange sights, right? And I ain't heard nothing about that.
Keep at it.
Oh, I will. You done me a great service, mister. And I fully intend to repay my debt. Thricefold, if it pleases.
Thank you, Thomas.
Place to sleep and meal to eat is thanks enough. Don't you worry. I'll get you sorted soon.
Yeah, that would be something, Morrow. We could make it like a Chartsy remix.
When I know something, you'll know something.
Next on the list.
Evening, gentlemen.
Charming.
Oh, peace, Charles. He'll grow on you.
Oi! Catherine, you fussock! Get back here! Daddy needs a drink!
How fares the search?
Maths and maps are not cutting it.
What of your local contacts?
We'll need to earn their trust before they'll share what they know.
I have an idea on how we might be affecting that. There's a man who's taken to enslaving natives. Rescue them, and they'll owe us.
Do you know where they're being held?
Afraid not.
Benjamin Church will. He's a finder and a fixer. He's also on your list.
And there I was, wondering whom I might solicit next. Well done. This business with Silas confuses me. If Britain stands any chance of pushing back the French, they must ally with the natives, not enslave them.
Silas is loyal only to his purse. That his actions harm the crown is irrelevant. So long as there are buyers for his product, he'll continue to procure it.
All the more reason to stop him, then.
My days are spent in Congress with the locals, attempting to convince them that we're the ones they should trust. That the French are merely using them as tools, to be abandoned once they've won.
Your words must lose their strength when held against the reality of Silas' actions.
I've tried to explain that he does not represent us. But he wears the red coat. He commands a fort. I must appear to them either a liar or a fool. Likely both.
Take heart, brother. When we deliver them his head, they'll know your words were true. Do you like it here, Charles?
There's a certain charm to Boston, I suppose. To all of the colonies, really. Granted, their cities have none of London's sophistication or splendor, but the people are earnest and hardworking. They've a pioneer spirit I find compelling.
It's quite something, really, watching a place that's finally found its feet.
Has it, though? The French still wage war from up north, and I fear the Spanish have designs upon this place as well. Is this a new world, or just another battlefield?
Ah, that's a story old as time itself, and one that's not like to change. We're cruel and desperate creatures, set in our conquering ways. The Saxons and the Franks, the Ottomans and Safavids. I could go on for hours. The whole of human history is but a series of conflicts and subjugations. A desire for more and more and more.
I pray one day we rise above it.
Whilst you pray, I'll act. We'll see who finds success first, hmm?
It was an expression.
Aye, and a dangerous one. Words have power. Wield them wisely.
Welcome back, Ronnie.
I've some work I should finish. Let us speak later.
Got no office to give at current. When I do, you'll be the first to hear it.
Okay, something's really weird with the camera for some reason. Like, you know, when I go towards the door, I'm basically not moving my right stick. It's moving into this direction. It's like so weird. That's the voice, Ronnie. Happy to help you. Did you go with the creator, like doing it yourself? Okay guys, I'm gonna restart the game because this like change is kind of annoying, and I wonder what is causing it. Like the camera's going nuts all of a sudden. Let me restart this. Ah, very nice, Ronnie. That's cool. Yeah, I think Morrow also made his own pen notes with that tool that I sent to you. So it's quite nice how they, you know, give you like something free to work with to design your own stuff, or however you want to have the colors and all that. But yeah, emotes are not as easily creatable, I guess, so having someone to do it for you would definitely be a good idea. Let's see if the camera is fixed. Seems like. Now when I'm aiming, I'm not aiming like directly up there or something, but actually straight. So yeah, it's fixed apparently. Sequence 2. The Surgeon.
Wonderful. Charles?
Sir?
Charles?
Seems like we're not the only ones looking for Mr. Church.
Damn it, he could be anywhere. What do we do?
We find him. Come. I'll show you how.
It's time for some observations and social stuff.
Should we write his family, do you think?
Not our business to meddle, even if we've the best of intentions.
You have both one new and miraculous ointment to turn to.
But if you could have seen it, they were surely drunk carrying on like that, and during the day, no less.
The French political thinker and writer, the Baron de Montesquieu, has died at the age of 66.
Such scandalous behavior from one who aims to be a surgeon. Not likely if he keeps up such carousing.
Truly a shameful display. Benjamin's parents would be mortified.
Perhaps I should send someone to retrieve him before he damages his reputation beyond repair.
They stumbled off to the northeast, no doubt in search of a tavern or some other place of ill repute.
Start questioning those on the street. I'm headed for higher ground.
Mechanical forging of all dimensions. Specification. Price of evil. Welcome to Saturday, America.
like Renaissance, you know, for AC2 it wasn't like the most popular setting you could choose, right? It's not like, you know, people hear Renaissance, they're like, yeah, I wanna have that, you know. But the way they said authentic to the series, to like both the series and the time period, just really made the setting work so well. And yeah, it's going good, Jessic. Playing some more AC today.
And they waved me away. Insisted it was all under control. How odd.
Finished Revelations earlier.
No.
Which was fantastic.
Only that it was a trifling matter, and he'd be returned home soon. There was some blood, though, so I wonder if it wasn't more serious than they let on. Where were they taking him? Towards the hilltop. Perhaps there's a doctor at the fort.
Yeah, it would be a great connection between AC1 and AC2.
No time. Just as I said we would.
If I might ask, sir, where did you learn to do all this?
It is a requirement when you are raised in the manner that I was. Perception is fundamental to the Order. It guides the feet when running and climbing, informs the hands when striking and fighting. But most important, it transforms the senses.
Osave Hiro, welcome mate. And good day to you. Oh, please tell me I'm not gonna desync you up here. Okay, we're still good. Okay, I wonder, can I fast travel somewhere? Because I want to get rid of this audio bug that's basically happening every time you do a viewpoint. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and actually bit and reload just to fix the audio glitch. I don't want it to go over into like cutscenes and stuff. Cheers, Hero. Yeah, we definitely made fast progress with Brotherhood and Revelations.
See, Charles? We'll have church in no time.
Which was also due to the playthroughs that we did with like stealth and no upgrades.
When you are raised in the manner that I was.
Focus a lot more on like main story than side stuff.
Perception is fundamental to the Order. It guides the feet when running and climbing, informs the hands when striking and fighting. But most important, it transforms the senses. And we begin to know the world in a different way. Careful. The place is well guarded. We need to slip past them.
But yeah, AC3 is gonna be a longer playthrough though, because you're gonna be doing all the missions. We're gonna be reading up all the database that has any like story importance as well. So yeah, it's gonna be a very in-depth playthrough. And yeah, that is correct. I'm from Germany. Yeah, like Valhalla has some really beautiful viewpoints. Super breathtaking, you know, sights as well.
Locked. I'll have to find the key. Wait here.
for the water. No. Oh, Jesus Christ. We have to loot the key. I mean, I could have just, you know, tried to look behind him, but I wanted to kill him and then loot it. Just to be safe. Or fall into water. This. Okay, I am moving. That works.
Here we are then.
Alright, it's time for Arnaud's voice actor. Because he's gonna be the guy who tortures Church.
Why must you always make these things so difficult, Benjamin? Merely provide me with recompense, and all shall be forgiven.
I'll not pay for protection I don't need.
Clearly, you do require protection. Else we wouldn't be here. How very gauche. Now, what shall we do about our guest?
Maybe I'll take his hands. Put an end to his surgery. Maybe I'll take his tongue. Put an end to his waggling. Or maybe I'll take his cock. Put an end to his fucking us.
So many options. I can't possibly decide. Take all three.
Now, hold a moment. Perhaps I was hasty in refusing you earlier.
I'm so very sorry, Benjamin. But that door has closed.
Be reasonable, Silas.
I rather think I was. But you took advantage of my generosity. I won't be made a fool a second time. I fear I lack the constitution to bear witness to such barbarism. Come find me when you're finished, Cutter.
You'll regret this, Silas, do you hear me? I'll have your head!
No. I rather think you won't.
Still a minute.
No worries, Ronnie. Have a good day, dude. And thank you for coming by. I haven't been there yet, myself, Reaper Wolf. Haven't been much to the south yet, except for the southwest of Germany. I mean, I've been to Munich a couple times, but I haven't really stayed there for long. But yeah, that's a good area to visit though. It's quite beautiful. We have lots of mountains. Silas Fetcher was the nephew of a well-to-do London merchant who purchased a commission for him and the British regulars when he was quite young. He was sent to the colonies in 1750, poor man, where he was posted at the defense along Boston Neck. You won't be surprised to learn that Fetcher had a mean streak. Few men wanted to serve under him, which might be what led to him being posted in Boston in the first place. Living in the colonies was regarded as something akin to exile at the time. Actually, come to think of it, not much has changed. Men who advanced under Fetcher's command were noted for their cruelty, like his personal assistant Cutter, which even you might have guessed is a nickname meaning one who likes to cut things, preferably people. Not what I look for in a PA, but there you go. At the time, paying the army was notoriously bad, and soldiers would often pick up odd jobs in their spare hours to make ends meet. This made them rather unpopular in Boston, where unemployment was rather high. However, Fetcher found something he enjoyed much more, demanding protection money from merchants in Boston. Not only that, but he dabbled in theft, fencing stolen goods, and then slave trade. A real Renaissance man, capturing the local indigenous people and sending them off to the highest bidder. which is what he was doing when Hatham found him. And we have Benjamin Church, was a talented physician and essentially the first Surgeon General of the US Army. Church was born in Rhode Island and graduated from Harvard University in 1754. So you're meeting him here just out of college. He'll be appointed head of the medical wing of the Continental Army in 1775. But for God's sake, don't tell him, it will go straight to his head. Church goes on to become a vocal patriot, which makes him sound like a member of a weird barbershop quartet. But he was a member of the Sons of Liberty and the local committee of correspondence. He will even speak at the 3rd anniversary of the Boston Massacre. He's also got a house in a very nice part of town. Being a doctor must pay well. Yeah, it doesn't. But there's a reason for him being very wealthy. Yeah, Munich is a beautiful city. I can definitely recommend, especially in the summertime.
We must decide where to start. You're a ruffian. Commoner's dirt, cutter.
And proud of it. Maybe you'll get lucky and pass up. Though I dare say I'll do my best to ensure that doesn't happen.
Your parents must be so very proud to have raised a specimen like yourself.
Quiet now. I need to concentrate on me work. Just a quick little swipe and no more ears. How's that sound, Mr. Church?
At least I'll be spared more of your inane prattle.
A little bit from here, a little bit from there. Make myself a nice keepsake, I will.
You're absolutely... Who are you?
Hatham Kenway, at your service.
I don't understand. Why are you here?
Walk with me, Mr. Church, and all will be explained.
Making friends is easy. Charles?
Johnson's told me what you intend. As it happens, the man who held me is the same one that you seek. His name is Silas Thatcher.
That fancy lad is our slaver?
Don't let his velvet tongue deceive you. A crueler and more vicious creature I've never known.
What can you tell me of his operation?
He hosts at least 100 men, more than half of whom are redcoats.
All this for some slaves?
Hardly. The man's a commander in the King's troop, in charge of the Southgate Fort.
We need to find a way inside. Let me think on it. In the meantime, I'll attend to our final recruit.
John Pitcairn's our man. I'll take you to him.
A soldier.
State your business.
New recruit.
More kindling for the pyre, eh? Well, go on then.
How'd you manage that?
Did you forget, sir? My commission is with General Braddock.
In 1754, John Pitcairn was a young captain in the British Marine Corps. He fought in the French and Indian War, but I can't find much about his postings. He's listed as being on the HMS Lancaster during the capture of Louisbourg, that's in Canada. No record of him being on the American side of the colonies, but it seems he did some covert work as well. That would explain the lack of details. Pitcairn was promoted to Major in 1771, and he gained a reputation for being well liked by his subordinates and praised by his enemies. That's a difficult trick to pull off. Maybe he had a lovely smile.
I'm not attending to you, of course.
Or maybe he's working for two sides.
Pitcairn, you fool! Your acts are treacherous. Give me one good reason I shouldn't kill you right now. Were you planning to announce yourself, or did you hope my men
Sir,
wouldn't notice your
if
arrival?
you'll allow me to explain.
Ho ho! By all means. I should like very much to hear this.
I have not deserted, sir. I am here under Commander Amherst's orders.
Show me a letter bearing his seal, and you might be spared the gallows.
I have no such thing. The nature of my work, sir,
It's the sort of thing best not put to paper.
Haytham.
General Braddock?
I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. Wolves often travel in packs.
Master Pitcairn won't be here for but a few weeks. I shall return him to his proper post once our work is finished.
The devil's work, no doubt. It's bad enough my superiors have insisted I grant you use of Charles. But they said nothing about this traitor. You'll not have him.
Edward, listen to reason.
We're done here. See these gentlemen out.
Well, that didn't go as I expected.
And to think I used to call him brother.
What now? They'll chase us off if we try and return.
We're done with this camp. And as luck would have it, so are they. Come along.
What are you planning?
To steal Master Pitcairn.
Edward Bodog Braddock was a major general placed in charge of British troops at the beginning of the French and Indian War. Probably because he had a nickname like Bodog. Braddock was serving as the acting governor of Gibraltar when he received a command in North America. He was given control of 2 regiments of regulars and assigned to win back Fort Duquesne from the French, known as the Braddock Expedition, as part of a larger attack on the French colonies on the continent. Braddock had been well liked as a governor in Gibraltar, but things changed once he reached North America. He had been known for keeping strict order among his troops, but it seems he went beyond that into brutality. He gained a reputation for being quick-tempered and cruel. He also displayed a contempt for non-British soldiers that alienated the colonial militia he was trying to recruit. So, a cruel, racist Bodog then, they're my least favorite type of Bodog. Braddock took a bullet to the chest during a battle in 1755. Rumor has it from one of his own soldiers, which is a job hazard when you're nasty to the people around you, and they all have guns. Sounds like a Bodog may have been put down. So that's kinda cool because it's a connection to how he dies, which we're gonna find out, of course. But yeah, by some of his own is kind of fitting.
What? You'll see. Now, when I give the signal, you're to distract Braddock's patrol and lure them into a dead end.
Sounds good, hero. Enjoy your luck, mate.
Simpsons of Smithfield, the finest provider of beef, veal, and live bullets.
Where shall we head next?
Perhaps down Marble.
No. Its residents are too content. Their homes are nice, days untroubled.
What of Lynn or Ship Street?
Yes. Those fresh arrived are often seen in dire straits. They're more likely to seize upon an opportunity to fatten their purses and feed their young.
Hey there, Stavro. Yeah, I reckon people in Arabia also like koalas. Can't blame them, because koalas are pretty cute. At least cute looking. But, yeah.
Oi! You thieves and scoundrels, one and all! Fie on you and your false war! After him!
Unhand him, Edward.
You again.
Let us go. And John Pitcairn with us.
I will not have my authority challenged.
Nor I.
Put them all in chains.
I stay my hand today because you were once my brother, and a better man than this. Or should our paths ever cross again, all debts will be forgotten. You're free now, John.
Traitor! Go on then. Join them on their fool's errand. And when you find yourself lying
I assume
broken
you've good
and
reason
dying
for causing all this
at the bottom of
madness.
some dark
What is it you require of me?
I'll explain everything on the way.
If I may, I was curious about your past with Braddock. You two clearly have a history.
Edward was one of us upon a time, and I considered him a close friend. He was brave and bold in ways few men are. But everything changed at the siege of Bergen op Zoom. We had lost the fortress to the French, and were in the midst of egress. There was a skiff hidden at the port with which we planned to make our escape. As we drew near, a young man and his family came upon us, begging for safe passage. I consented, but Edward refused. The young man called him Craven then. So Edward killed him and all the rest, even the children. To this day, I don't know why. Was this the first time he'd struck out? Or had I simply never seen it before? Either way, things were never the same after that. We campaigned together a few more times, but each outing was more disturbing than the last. He killed and killed. Enemy or ally, civilian or soldier, guilty or innocent. It mattered not. If he perceived one to be an obstacle, they died. He maintained that violence was a more efficient solution. It became his mantra. And it broke my heart.
I had no idea.
He hides it well, and intimidates into silence any who discover him. Those who persist have a tendency to find misfortune.
And we should stop him.
I suppose you're right. But I maintain a foolish hope that he might yet be saved and brought back round to reason. I know. It's a silly thing to believe that one so drenched in death might suddenly change.
I'm sorry to have brought this up,
It was not my intent to sour you.
Nonsense. We are brothers now. There should be no secrets between us. So, a question for you. Why medicine?
I'm supposed to tell you I care for my fellow man, right? That I chose this path because it allows me to accomplish the greater good.
Are these things not true?
Perhaps. But that's not what guided me, no. For me, it was a less abstract thing. I like money.
There are other paths to fortune.
But what better ware to peddle than life? Nothing else is as precious nor so desperately craved. And no price is too great for the man or woman who fears an abrupt and permanent end.
Your words are cruel, Benjamin.
But true as well.
You took an oath to help people, did you not?
I abide the oath, which makes no mention of price. I merely require compensation, fair compensation, for my services.
And if they lack the required funds?
Then there are others who will serve them. Does a baker grant free bread to a beggar? Does the tailor offer a dress to the woman who cannot afford to pay? No. Why should I?
You said it yourself. Nothing is more precious than life.
Indeed. All the more reason one should ensure they have the means to preserve it.
So, that's an interesting dialogue right here. Because, as you can see, Haven actually disagrees with Church, you know. Church is like saying that he wants to make money out of a business that preserving life brings, you know. So he's a doctor for money, not because he wants to help people. And he would even deal in life, which, you know, kind of comes close to what slavery is. And he would basically try to get more funds out of his patients. Otherwise, you know, he might sabotage their health negatively. And even though Haven disagrees with him, you know, he still stays. And that's because he has influence. That's why. That's kind of funny, you know, because Haven's like criticizing these injustices. Then he allows them to happen in his own, you know, circle, essentially. He's not like participating himself, you know, but he's definitely aware that it happens under his, you know, guidance, I guess.
I've some ledgers to review. Do you mind if we speak later?
I hope you and the General find a way to patch things up.
Sequence 2. Infiltrating South Gate.
Gentlemen, I believe I found the solution to our problem. Or rather, Odysseus has.
How do you? Are you a new guy?
The Greek hero, you lobcock.
Allow me to explain. We enter Silas' fort, under the pretext of kinship. Once inside, we spring our trap, free the captives, and kill the slaver.
Dodgy, dodgy. I like it.
Then, let us begin. First, we need to find ourselves a convoy.
Only one penny. The Boston.
Convoy should be here soon. We'll attack on my signal.
Understood, sir.
If we time this right, we can catch them all unawares.
It is feared that armed hostilities between French formal war.
Hey, Vestorks. Welcome. It's going good, thank you. Playing some AC3 after having finished Revelations earlier.
Pardon, sirs. Seems we've had ourselves an unhappy little accident.
Get it sorted, and quickly.
Of course, my lord. At once.
But yeah, how's it going for you, Stocks? How are you doing?
Charles, you and William serve as vanguard. Let no man reach us.
What about me?
You and John will follow from a distance and keep watch over us. I'll signal you when I have need of your services. We're here to help you, along with those held inside Southgate Fort.
Free me.
Not until we're inside the gate. I can't chance an inspection of the gate going wrong. I'll see you safe. You have my word.
Tomorrow and Thursday.
Do you know anything of Silas' operation?
Yeah, we are. With Brotherhood and Revelations being like more main story focus, we really didn't spend too much time with those games. But yeah, it's gonna be different with AC3 though. We're gonna be doing all the missions. Plus reading up on the database as well. Eating some ramen. That's nice. It's been a while since I had some myself. But I could go for some ramen. So we have the French and Indian War, which lasted from 1754 to 63. This is one of many wars in the long-standing British versus French rivalry. Well, you might call it rivalry. I would call it a battle of wits with an unarmed country. This particular war being over who would come out as the biggest colonial power. Of course, it was enough that the British and French fight one another. They convinced a number of North American indigenous nations to join the conflict as well, hence the name French and Indian War. The war started in the colonies, but it spread to Europe where it was known as the 7 Years' War. Before you pointed out, yes, I know the dates add up to more than 7 years. The conflict started in 1754, but war wasn't officially declared until 1756, but well done for spotting it, you mathlete. I bet you were popular at school. George Washington has the honor of starting the actual fighting, under orders of course. He was sent to create a fort in disputed territory. While he was doing that, he crossed paths with a French patrol. Washington attacked, the French retaliated. The British followed up by sending 2 full regiments of regulars to the fight, and so it began. The British fought a losing battle until about 1758 when they got a new Prime Minister, who decided funding the war effort was a priority. Possibly because of the whole French thing. Maybe he ate a bad baguette once. With the added support, the British along with their indigenous allies and the colonial militia began to gain ground slowly but surely. Eventually the French were driven out of almost all of their territory north of the Caribbean, something we in Britain celebrate with a special holiday called every day or year. So the British won, but they were left with huge war debts. They tried to pay these off with taxes levied from the colonists they would defend it from the French, who would have had them all eating onions and saying, "Oui sir, no sir," before you knew it. The colonists objected, leading up to a series of protests, which were part of the unrest that led to the American Revolution. Talk about gratitude. Sue law.
How many men we might expect? The nature of their defenses. You must be rather important to him if you were given your own escort.
Sir, we've enemies ahead. Shall I engage them?
No. Let Jonathan and Thomas take care of it.
As you wish.
I wish you'd trust us. Though I suppose it's only natural for you to be wary. So be it.
Halt! Identify yourselves! Where is Lieutenant Jones? What's the meaning of this?
Engage the enemy! Goddamn dogs.
Let no man reach us!
Looks like you're to meet the Reaper.
He killed the doggo. What a bastard.
Aha! Bringing fresh meat, eh?
On your guard,
Come
men.
here. I want to take a look.
Of course.
Only say the word, and I'll cut them down.
One moment there. Are you new? Who's your officer?
Engage the enemy!
The Reaper.
All clear!
Hold!
Evening, gentlemen.
State your business.
Delivery for Silas.
Go on then.
See? I'm freeing you just as I said I would. Now, if you'll allow me to explain. Let her go.
But she'll give us away.
No, she won't.
What's the plan?
Free the captives and avoid detection.
What of Silas?
He dies.
I know when you're ready to strike.
Whoops. I thought he wouldn't see me if I do like, you know, one of his hidden assassinations. Ah, never mind. I think we actually saved the option objective of having killed the general. That we have to do it or anything. But I still try to do these objectives if I can. Okay, we gotta do 2 more of these Kappa assassinations. Yeah, they can be a bit tricky to set up without being detected. There we go. That does it. I can tell you the amount of times I had to replay this the first time I played this mission. I think I was stuck on this mission for quite a bit. Because of the not being able to be detected requirement.
I asked. Instead, I'm awakened not 10 minutes later by this cacophonous madness. I expect an explanation, and it had best be good. How? How did this happen? My precious merchandise set free? It's unacceptable! Rest assured, I'll have the heads of those responsible, but first we clean up this mess! Seal the fort, kill any who try to escape. I don't care if they be one of us or one of them. To approach the gate is to be made a corpse. Am I understood?
Push them back!
He's
Benjamin!
here! Stop the interloper!
Glad to have you with me.
He's the one
I could use some help.
Kill him!
I'll...
Who are you?
Name's Hatham Kenway. You don't know me, but I believe the two of you are well acquainted.
I made a promise to you, Cyrus. One I intend to keep.
And this dude is a doctor. But yeah, a corrupted doctor at that. One who's only doctor for the gain of money.
What happens now?
We wait. But not for very long, I suspect.
So that is sequence 2 complete. Excellent.
It's been several weeks now since we freed the Mohawk prisoners from captivity. I had hoped their leader might make contact, but there's been only silence. My men grow restless. They want to know what comes next, and I do not have an answer. Lee alone remains active, pursuing leads, however slight. He stalks the city streets and scouts the bordering woods, hopeful that he might make contact with one of those we saved. There was a woman there that night. It was she who helped the others to safety. If we can find her, I believe I'll have my answers. So, I watch and wait, hopeful that my true mission might finally begin.
Alright, very nice. So yeah guys, that is good progress for today. And that is how far I wanted to play as well. But yeah, we made the end or finish on AC Revelation. We watched AC Embers and also made a start on AC3, so we had lots happening today. But yeah guys, as all good things have to come to an end, so does the stream. So I'm gonna go ahead and quit here. And then we're gonna find ourselves a raid target to raid. But yeah, I want to thank you all very much for coming by and joining for another AC day. Tomorrow we're most likely going to be playing Star Fox Assault and actually make a start on that game. I was supposed to start that today, but decided to play AC afterwards, or after all. So yeah, I happy ended that. It was good to make a finish on Revelations and a start on AC3. But yeah, thanks again to Michael for the follow. Also thank you Rod for the raid and the resub earlier. Thanks again also to Renbig and Little Eagle for the follow as well. And yeah, everybody else coming by and joining, lurking and chatting. Very much appreciated. But yeah, who's online? Let's see. Hello, very Scrammy, thank you for being here. So yeah guys, I think we're gonna go ahead and say hi to Left Decker 4. He's gonna be playing some Mass Effect 2, doing a series run on that franchise. So yeah, I will see you guys over there. Thanks again everybody for coming out and joining. And I will catch you next time for Star Fox Assault. See you guys.